Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another very exciting Brexit week. Yesterday, in the first session of Parliament since summer recess, some very interesting things have happened. Boris Johnson did not have a good day. It started already when he gave a statement about the G7 summit. In that moment, Philip Lee, a Conservative MP, defected to the Liberal Democrats, and from that moment on, Boris Johnson's government did not have a majority in the House of Commons anymore. And secondly, a motion has been passed to allow backbench control over Parliament time for today, and it passed with quite a big majority. 228 members of Parliament voted for that motion and only 201 voted against it. That means that 21 Tory MPs voted with the opposition to take control of Parliament time today. And today there will be a bill that, if it passes Parliament today and the House of Lords probably on Thursday and gets royal assent, it will force the government to ask the European Union for an extension until the 31st of January in case there will be no deal until the 19th of August. The 19th of October. The 19th of October is interesting because that is right after the EU Council meeting where Boris Johnson wanted his always mentioned deal. These two things yesterday mean a big defeat for Boris Johnson. But nothing has really happened yet, because today the motion has to go through Parliament, and until then he only lost the control over Parliament time. But this is not a good sign for him. Although I must say nothing is lost for him either. First thing is, right after the motion passed on a point of order, Boris Johnson told everyone that tonight they tabled a motion under the Fixed Term Parliament Act to trigger a general election. This motion does require 2/3 of the members of Parliament to agree on it, which is unlikely at the moment because Jeremy Corbyn said, first we want to pass the bill about the extension, and then we can talk about a general election. I must say, Jeremy Corbyn hopefully calculates all the parts in it, because even if the motion passes today in the House of Commons, on Thursday the Lords, and even gets royal assent, no one can guarantee that Boris Johnson will ask the EU for an extension. There's a lot of talk about he might ignore it, and as I said before, there's this say who's going to send the police into Downing Street number 10 to arrest Boris Johnson. But there's another problem with that as well. If the motion passes, what will be the reason they tell the EU for this extension? As you probably will remember, whenever there were discussions over an extension, the EU always said, we can grant you an extension. Even Ursula von der Leyen has said she's open for talks about an extension, but for a single purpose or a good purpose, and that can either be a second referendum or a general election. But to trigger a general election before the EU Council meeting is quite a dangerous thing, because in case of a general election, Parliament will not be prorogued, it will be dissolved. Being dissolved means the MPs who are still MPs in a prorogued Parliament are not MPs anymore for the last 25 days before the election. And in this time, if Boris Johnson ignores a bill that might be passed this week, they can't do anything about it. And so he still can, with this election, get his no deal. So Jeremy Corbyn really has to be careful about what he's doing in the next days. One other thing I want to talk about is there was a lot of fantasy yesterday again. Boris Johnson over and over talked about his possible deal with the EU again. I don't know in what parallel universe he's having negotiations, but he once again said that as well our Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Emmanuel Macron told him that they are open to change the withdrawal agreement. But first of all, they didn't say that. And he talked again about the 30 days in which he can get a new deal. They didn't say that. Angela Merkel said, bring an alternative for the backstop in the next 30 days, and we can talk about the backstop, and not taking it out of the withdrawal agreement. This just means leave on the 31st of October with the withdrawal agreement, and then we will just implement your alternative if it's as good as the backstop in preventing a closed border between Northern Ireland and Ireland, and then the backstop never has to be put into action. That's all. But this all requires the UK to accept May's withdrawal agreement. It would just not completely be put into action if there's an alternative for the backstop. But neither Angela Merkel or Emmanuel Macron or Donald Tusk or Jean-Claude Juncker or anybody else said we will change this withdrawal agreement. So I don't know in what parallel universe Boris Johnson is living at the moment, but once again yesterday all the time he talked about this, and he wanted to use this deal he's getting from the EU that only exists in his head to get the MPs not to vote on the motion yesterday. Obviously he failed, and the next thing is, if he had some alternatives for the backstop at a crucial point like yesterday, that would have been the time to put it on the table, to show the MPs, here's my alternative, let's bring this to the EU, we can succeed with that to replace the backstop before it has to get in action. With this, what I put here on the table for you, this will work. But he didn't. And of course he didn't, because he doesn't have an alternative. The EU in press conferences regularly states we don't have anything substantial from the UK. There are only negotiations on technical levels, which is another trick, by the way, if Boris Johnson only has negotiations on technical level with the EU, because the EU doesn't comment on technical level negotiations. And that's, well, it was planned to work on Boris Johnson's plan, because then he still can say, oh, we're making progress and whatever, and the EU won't say a word about this because it's just on technical level and not between the heads of governments or heads of states. And so the EU won't really make big comments or detailed comments about the fact that there's not really anything going on. They only say we don't have a substantial proposal we can show you. We're not even yet at the political level, and on the technical level there will be nothing. And I mean, the chief negotiator of the EU, Barnier, said there is nothing substantial, and he's the one negotiating for the EU. But let's put that aside. I guess nobody who's just a little bit interested in the whole topic will believe a word Boris Johnson is saying about his supposed deal. Nevertheless, the interesting day will be today. Today, the motion will be debated to extend in case of a no deal, but there are some very interesting parts about this as well. We know from yesterday what the motion is that's on the table today, but we don't know yet which amendments will have all been put in, and which amendments Speaker John Bercow will choose to this motion. There can happen a lot today, so I'm quite curious how this will end and what the motion really will look like if it passes Parliament. But after the hurdle it took yesterday, I guess it might pass Parliament today. And the second thing is, right after the motion passed yesterday, Boris Johnson, as I said, says that they're tabling a motion under the Fixed Term Parliament Act, and they'll have to debate and to vote on that today again as well, I guess. And I'm quite curious how that will end up. I personally can't believe that Jeremy Corbyn will be that stupid to have his Labour Party vote for that, but we will see. So it's going to be another exciting day today. I'll keep you informed sometime tomorrow, but I was quite shocked about some things yesterday, especially when people like the father of the house, Ken Clarke, or the grandson of Winston Churchill, who voted for the motion, are being threatened with deselection from the Conservative Party from people who voted against their own government over and over again. That is quite shocking. I myself, I'm a member of the German Conservative Party. I'm a borough council member for the German Conservative Party, and what I'm seeing there is something I can't imagine to happen in my party. We have a say here for all members of parliaments and councils and whatever. They are party members, but they are voting according to their conscience. And even if that is not very welcome sometimes, it is accepted that people have to vote what their conscience says. And that's, from my point of view, definitely what the so-called Tory rebels have done yesterday. By the way, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I really liked some BBC mentionings yesterday about Ken Clarke being the leader of the Rebel Alliance. No, but to be serious again, it's unbelievable that people who have voted regularly against their own government are now saying that people who are voting once against his government, or if they do it again today, twice on the same topic, have to be kicked out of the party. That is just ridiculous. And that's just an attempt to threaten members of parliament, which is unacceptable in every democracy, and to put pressure on them. And that is really a new low for the leader of the House, Jacob Rees-Mogg, as well as for the Prime Minister Boris Johnson and everybody else of the Conservative Party who are taking part in this. This is just disgusting. But that's enough high emotions today. We will see what's going to happen. I'm really looking forward to today's session of Parliament. And for now, I just want to say, as usual, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell if you want to be informed when my next videos come up. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it. And please put in the comments, what do you expect to happen in the next days? Do you think we will have a general election before the 31st of October? Do you think the opposition will succeed today with the extension, about if the EU will accept that? We'll talk another time. What do you think about the so-called Tory rebels? Let me know, leave a comment, I'm looking forward to it. But for now, I just say, have a nice day, see you tomorrow, bye bye.